So good evening once again, and welcome to onenurse.com webinar about how to pass NCLEX exam. I am Lady May, and I am the Sales and Engagement Manager of onenurse.com. Okay, but for today, I will be your host. So I would like to acknowledge the participants, our modern heroes today. Thank you so much for your endless support, and thank you for giving us a time to attend this webinar. Just a reminder that you can still send an invitation link to your colleagues, and please stay tuned for the raffle draw. Also, I acknowledge the presence of onenurse.com's founder, Hirojit Singh Rajakumar, with the head of engineering team, John Andrew Alerse, and together with our guest speaker, Ms. Maribel Gabot. In this webinar, you will know the things and will be giving tips on how to pass the NCLEX exam. And later, we will be having a question and answer portion with a guest speaker. You can write down your questions in the comment section below, and your questions will be answered later. All right, so before we proceed, I would like to introduce our speaker, Ms. Maribel. And before that, I would like to introduce onenurse.com. So what is onenurse.com? So onenurse.com, our vision is to become loved most and most trusted solutions provider, a marketplace of the healthcare workers, hospitals, and healthcare facilities, and the Healthcare Educational Institute through our platform and technologies. Our platform will connect nurses and allied healthcare professionals to the healthcare industries. And our mission is for the love of the healthcare workers. We thank you, we respect you, and we will empower you. So this is the One Nurse app. Actually, the application is already live to Apple Store and Google Store. So this is our applications. Includes search jobs, so you can easily search jobs, easily apply, and get inspired from the nurse stories from other healthcare professionals. You can browse their stories as well. Personalize your profile, and your profile works as your CV and get notified by the employers. You can also learn to explore opportunities not only locally, but worldwide. So what is the app about? onenurse.com is a technology platform that will help connect nurses and allied healthcare professionals and the healthcare industries. So we believe that our solutions will be soon one of the biggest segment marketplace in the healthcare service industry. Actually, our platform is already live, so you can just go to the Google Play or App Store and download. You can search into the search bar, onenurse.com. Or else, we also provide here the QR code. If you're with your screen or with your cell phone now, you can just get a picture. So what this app will do for the nurses, for you, especially to the viewers. So first is you can job-related information. So you will be able to search job near you and even far to you. Next is read inspiring stories, and also information about higher educations. So thank you. Our ideas are your solutions. So next is I would like to introduce to you our, let's proceed to the introduction of our speaker, Mr. Who will be talking about how to pass the NCLEX exam. Preparation tips. This is a subject in which nurses who are dreaming to be a registered nurse in the US and will be finally realized. Our speaker is a graduate from University of Santo Tomas, batch 2005, and have worked as a dialysis nurse and COVID vaccine inoculator, a Philippine registered nurse, and also an NCLEX passer. Let us all welcome Ms. Maribel Gabot.
Good evening. Thank you for that. And let me share with you my screen. So again, good evening. Okay, I'll be presenting to you how to pass the NCLEX. Okay, so let's start with a little introduction about NCLEX. So what is NCLEX-RN? NCLEX stands for National Council Licensure Examination for Registered Nurses. So its purpose is to make sure that candidates or graduate nurses are prepared to begin work as entry-level nurses in the United States. So who has to take the NCLEX? Of course, anyone who wants to work as a nurse in the US will be required to take and pass the NCLEX exam. I'll tackle this briefly, the NCLEX registration. So what will you do? So first, you need to submit an application for licensure registration to the NRB or nursing regulatory body where you wish to be licensed. For example, you wish to practice in New York or Illinois, you need to go to the website of the nursing board of Illinois or New York and make sure that you are eligible to take the exam. Okay, because they have different requirements per state. So you register for NCLEX with Pearson VUE, and after an NCLEX registration is created, it will stay open for a year, awaiting for your eligibility from the Nursing Regulatory Board of the state where you wish to practice. So once you are eligible, you must take the test within the validity dates of the ATT or the authorization to test. So for more information, you just have to visit ncsbn.org. So NCLEX test plans. So you are encouraged to review these test plans, okay, before your exam appointment. Why? This is very important because they serve as blueprints. They outline the content of the test. Okay, the test will be as 75 minimum items, questions, and maximum of 265. The allotted time would be, it depends on you on how fast you answer, but you have 6-hour time period. Okay, so in the test plan, you will see the distribution of content for the NCLEX-RN exam. So for example, this pie graph, this is how it's distributed. This is effective April 1, 2019 through March 31, 2023. So you can see here that management of care is 20%, okay, and pharmacological or medicine, 15%. So you need to brush up those medicines, guys. So you need to study that very well. So it's still valid until March 31, 2023. Okay, next. So how to prepare for the NCLEX-RN test? So of course, you need to understand the NCLEX format. So NCLEX test uses a CAT format or computerized adaptive testing. So it means that no single exam is identical. You'll be taking different sets of questions. Okay, you will see there are different types. For example, multiple choice, fill in the blanks, calculation, ordered response, hotspots. Sometimes you'll see charts and tables. Okay, so this is an example of a hotspot question where you will be presented with an illustration. For example, the question would be, find the tricuspid valve, where you'll be auscultating the patient. Okay, so you'll just hover your mouse to the area and then click and then next. Okay, so that's an example of a hotspot question. Okay, so next tip is how the test is graded. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, again, CAT exam. Okay, computerized. So think of it this way. There is a horizontal line or an axis, and we call it the pass line. So this is the pass line. Okay, so everything below the pass lines are low-level questions, and everything above the pass line is the high-level questions. Okay, so everyone starts at the 0. Okay, so for example, you get the first question correct. Here. You go here and then you're still above the passing line. So it means you're passed. And then you get the second question again, right? Okay, you're still above the passing line. Okay, a third one, you get an error on the third question. So you're still above the passing line. So what if you get so many mistakes? Okay, so first question, you got it wrong. Second, wrong. So you consistently get wrong answers. So you are below the passing line. The CAT measures the consistency of your answers. If you consistently get correct answers, the exam can stop at 75 questions. Okay, and the computer will tell that you've passed the exam. Or if you consistently get wrong answers, okay, so the computer can also stop at 75. Okay, what if you get right, and then wrong? So you can have a set of 265. The question can go to 265 questions. Okay, because the system will look for consistency. Okay. So to pass, you must ultimately rise to a point above the pass line that demonstrates competency with marginal doubt. The test can end at any point when the determination is made between question 75 to 265 or at the maximum time allowance of 6 hours. Okay, guys. So try to make your answers right. So you need to really study. Okay. So next tip is to make a study plan. So what's a study plan? So you need to know when you are going to study. Are you going to study in the morning or in the afternoon? Where are you going to study, at home or in a review center? Or you can also set up your goals, okay, for your weekly short-term goals and your long-term goal. Of course, your long-term goal is to pass the NCLEX exam. Okay. So identify your strengths and weaknesses. This is very important because when you have identified your weaknesses, you can focus on them more. For example, you're very good in medication, but you're very bad in calculations. So you'll spend more time knowing the formulas and knowing how to calculate medication to prevent errors. Another tip is to enroll in test preparatory courses. There are several available preparatory courses. Here are some: Kaplan, UWorld, nursing.com, and Hearst. Okay, it depends on your, of course, budget and what courses suit you best. Personally, I chose Kaplan because I was able to manage my time at my own pace and budget-wise. Okay, so you can choose different test prep courses. Next is to practice NCLEX questions every day. Try to use those with rationale, okay, so that you'll know why you got the answer correct or why you made a mistake, so that you'll learn in the process. Also, it is recommended that you do practice questions so that it will reduce your test anxiety, okay? And it will help identify nursing topics you need to review. Next tip is to use mnemonics or memory reviewers. Perhaps you've used this in the local boards, right? It's very helpful. Okay, it helps retain nursing information. Okay, we have so many nursing mnemonics. Remember, for example, in detecting cancer, we use caution. Okay, so it can be visual memory aids, abbreviation. This is an example. For example, in hypocalcemia, symptoms, use mnemonics of cats. Okay, there are plenty. Okay. So next is to read the entire question. This is very important. If you can read it twice or thrice, don't be in a hurry. Make sure to read the entire question so that you'll not miss anything. Okay? Next is to understand the entire question, positive or negative style. Example of positive style are the usual question. For example, what is the normal value of potassium, or what is the normal value of calcium or hemoglobin level? So an example of negative style is using does not or not, okay, unsafe, not beneficial. For example, what prescription is unsafe? What prescription is not beneficial? Okay, so those are example of negative style questions. Okay, you'll also encounter that in the exam. Okay, next is to rephrase the question to identify core issues. Okay, so this is an example. So the original question, it's a bit long. So again, as I mentioned earlier, you need to read the question very carefully. Okay, and then you try to rephrase the question. Okay. A 45-year-old man is scheduled to be discharged following bypass surgery, and he has been in the hospital for 8 days. Does the nurse place a high priority on teaching the patient what point before he is discharged? Okay, so it's a long scenario and question. So you can rephrase it. Okay, so what are the important keywords here? Bypass surgery and to be discharged. So following bypass surgery, what's the most important teaching point for a patient to know when going home or being discharged? Okay, it's much easier. Okay, next is the process of eliminating the incorrect answers. So in this process, we cross out all the answers you know are incorrect and then focus on the remaining answers. Okay, perhaps you've done this in the local boards or other exams. Incorrect elimination, the process of elimination. Next is to find keywords in the question. This is very important. Okay, so you'll see keywords in questions. For example, information pertaining to age, how old is the patient, is the patient pediatric, the setting, for example, in the hospital, at home, the timing, for example, the timing of medication, the timing when the symptoms appear. There. You need to find the keywords in the question. Sometimes race, a Black American, Asian. Okay. So next tip is to watch out for switchback words. So be alert for switchback words. What are examples of switchback words? But, although, nevertheless. Okay. So why is this important? Because it indicates a shift in thought and alter the nature of the question. So make sure that you watch out. You read the questions very carefully. Okay. Another tip is to pay attention to highlighted bold keywords. So why is it in bold? Because it's important. Okay. So pay attention to those words. And another tip is to believe in yourself, of course. This is very important. You need to trust yourself. Believe that you've studied very hard for the exam, you've prepared very well, and that you're going to pass the exam. It's power of the mind, right? There. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Maribel, for the great presentation. And I know that it is really beneficial to the nurses who's currently our viewers right now. So, Maribel, for the sake of interest of others, I would like to ask if what inspired you to take up NCLEX?
Okay, so because of my family, of course, they inspired me to take up the NCLEX when I was in nursing school. That is always the end goal, to go abroad and practice nursing there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how did you know about this NCLEX, and when was that?
Okay, so I graduated in 2005 and took the board the same year, the local boards. And as I mentioned earlier, it was my goal to go to the US and practice there. So the first stepping stone is really to pass the NCLEX. You cannot practice nursing without passing the NCLEX. So that's it.
Oh, so do the nurses should be a registered nurse before taking the NCLEX exam?
I believe so. They need nurses should be graduate nurses. But it really depends on the state where you'll be practicing or where you want to be licensed, because every state have different protocols. They have different requirements. So it is best that you visit the website of the state where you want to practice nursing and check there. But I believe that you need to be a graduate and registered nurse in the country.
Oh, so where did you take your NCLEX exam?
Okay, I took it in 2007 in Hong Kong. It was
Oh,
in Hong Kong, yeah, because Philippines don't have NCLEX yet, so you really have to go to Hong Kong
so
or
um,
Macau. Hong Kong and Macau usually are the go-to places of nurses who want to take the NCLEX exam back then.
so in how many attempts you clear the NCLEX?
Just once.
Wow.
Thankfully.
So I think yeah, you're really good. So how did you strategize? Can you give us what makes you unique on anyway, how did you strategize it? How did you pass it in just one take?
I think I'm just so blessed to have a good support system. To have a good support system. What I did, because I know in myself that I can't juggle both work and
Mm.
study. So what I did is I resigned. That's what I did. I resigned because I need to focus on studying. I really can't juggle both work and study. So I resigned and I registered for NCLEX. And then when I got the scheduled date, I studied for the exam, I think for 2 or 3 months
Oh,
for
so
preparation.
so
Mm-hmm.
you prepared for 2 to 3 months for the
Yes,
NCLEX.
yes, I enrolled in Kaplan. I go there every um 11 a. I believe 11 a.m. up to 3 or 4 p.m. study, including breaks.
So it takes almost 4 hours, 6 hours.
4 to 6, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's your for your regular basis on
Yes,
studying.
that's for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
And then weekend break.
yeah, of course,
You
we
need,
we all need that.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Maribel, for answering those questions. So, anyway, I still have any questions for you, Maribel. So, um, anyway, have you encountered any problems during your journey on your review, or what are your challenges, and how did you overcome those? I'm so curious about it. Because it's really
Okay.
hard to take that
Challenges.
kind of exam.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So challenges. It's very frustrating. Okay, when you answer preparatory questions and you get those scores. For example, out of 75, you only get 30. It can be frustrating, but I just say to myself that I just have to study and then learn from it. And it's better to make the mistakes now, okay, then make it later in the actual exam. So yeah, that's what I did. I studied and learned from my mistakes.
So despite of the challenges, you're still motivated. How did you do
Yeah.
that? Can you give us a tip?
Tip.
How did you do that?
Yeah. To stay motivated because and I believe that NCLEX is very expensive. I'm not sure how much it is now, but before I think $200. I think it's $200. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, I have to take the exam in Hong Kong. So I have to pay for plane ticket.
Yeah, for accommodation also.
Yeah. So and my mom paid for all of it. So I told myself that I need to really pass this. And also because of the preparatory courses that I have to go to, it's also expensive to enroll in Kaplan, but it's really worth it. So yeah, and also of course the end goal is to become a USRN. That helps keep me on my toes and it keeps me motivated.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, to those to our viewers, you can ask some questions, and we will try to cater all those questions. Just comment down below about your questions, and Maria, our Wonders.com colleague, will also give me those questions. Yeah, you can ask some questions now. So guys, grab this opportunity. Anyway, Maribeth, before we will proceed to the questions from our viewers, I would like to ask, what can you advise to all NCLEX examinees or to those who would like to pass the exam? Can you give them some advice?
Okay, so my advice would be to study hard for the exam and don't wait too long to take the NCLEX. For example, you graduated um, this year, you can take the NCLEX, but it really depends on your goal because I don't want to take the NCLEX, for example, 5 years after graduation because it's still fresh. I want my memory of my nursing to be still fresh. So I took the NCLEX early, study, and then do not cram, of course. Also pray. Of course, we need guidance, and also believe. As I mentioned earlier, you need to believe in yourself that you can do it.
Yeah, someone commented, wow, one take lang. So what advice to this? And you are
You can do it.
Yeah,
You can do it too.
yeah.
You can do it too.
Okay, a question from Marco, Emniaz Marco. 35 years old here, hoping to have a chance to take NCLEX. What can you say to him? Is a follow-up question, is there any age limit to the
no age limit. As long as you submit all the requirements and you're eligible to take the exam, just do it. Just study. Okay. I know a lot of people who are my age, above 35, who are still starting to in their career in nursing. Just do it. It doesn't matter how old you are. Okay, so go. You can do it, Marco.
Yeah, you can do it, Marco. First question is from Jamaica Rose Pagala Antalan. Ma'am, hindi po ba maximum of 145 questions po? Na po?
Maximum? What I read in the NCSP, and it's 275 is 270. But I mentioned earlier. I'm sorry. Did it change? Because I believe it's 265.
Oh, so 265 questions.
Yes.
Does the NCLEX also have written exam? Like you can do the essay or in your own work?
No, it depends on the computer. on the phone. Yeah.
Some
stat and you get different sets of exam. You cannot choose.
Okay. So what kind of exam is that? Is it just true or false, ABC?
No, as I mentioned earlier, there are different sets. There are multiple choice, hotspots, like I showed earlier, the illustration, where you should point. For example, where are you going to auscultate? Point to the area where you're going to auscultate the sounds. Other types of question is order response. For example, what should you do first and then last? So you order.
Yeah, it's order. Order.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
They have different.
yeah, we have third question coming from Kimberly Padua Mundala. Do we need an experience in Middle East before applying a nurse job in US?
Again, it really depends on the state, okay, where you want to practice, because it depends on what are the requirements. Sometimes you need to have hospital experience, but I think the minimum is that you graduate nursing if you're a licensed nurse. But you need to really check on the boards of the state you want to practice.
All right. So we have a question from Ira Alqaeda. What review materials you use?
Okay. So Kaplan, they have, I'm not advertising Kaplan, but Kaplan, they have the resources, they have questionnaires, study guides, okay? And I also, you attended GAPOs, if you're familiar with GAPOs. I attended their, I think a 2-day or 3-day. Okay, it's been too long. Okay, but I attended their courses. Yeah, there.
So
There are today you're very lucky because there are several free online resources that you can use to study NCLEX.
yeah, it's already available almost in Google.
Yeah.
From Edel Lumabo, any online review center you recommend?
Online review, as I mentioned earlier, kaplanders.com. Those are good.
Okay.
Good
For the
review
benefit
centers.
of Edel Lumabo, I would like to ask, can you spell out the online review center you mentioned earlier?
Kaplan? Okay, let me share with you. Is it okay?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Let me find it. Sorry. This one. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see the Canva.
Okay. Okay. It's Kaplan, newworldnursing.com first. These are good preparatory courses.
Yeah, it was
we
in your
offer.
presentation earlier.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you so much, Maribel. Okay, so next from Ira Alqaeda, did you took PNLE first before NLEX?
Philippine nursing, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
I took it in 2005 and I took the NCLEX in 2007.
So again from Glidalin Dimayuga. Hello, what can you say about the next generation NCLEX NGN? And those who will take the NGN, what should we focus to study on and study for?
Okay, so, earlier I shared again because NCSPN have these test plans where you can see the distribution of the exam. Okay, let me share again. Sorry.
Maybe some of them are just
okay
open.
I shared this earlier. Share screen. Okay, so this one. So here I got it from NCSBN, 75 items and 265. Okay, so here's the distribution of content to the NCLEX-RN for effective April 1, 2019 through March 31, 2023. So 20% will go to management of care. And then 15% would go to pharmacological or the medication, parenteral therapies. And there. You can see this in ncsbn.org. So it's very important that you browse it so that you'll understand how the exam will be distributed. Of course, you need to study everything about nursing this, to pass the exam.
Yeah, thank you. Last two questions, Maribel.
Okay.
Once you pass the NCLEX, a question from Jenny Rose Tabsing. Once you pass the NCLEX exam, how long is the validity of the exam result?
Validity of okay, because NCLEX does not expire. That's a good thing. Okay, but you need to secure your license. It again depends on state. Okay, some states require that you have a social security number, for example, in California. So you need to secure that. And for other states, I think it's 3 years for the license validity. But for the exam, the NCLEX, it does not expire.
For the renewal, so it will not
expire. The NCLEX, but the license, it expires.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Again, check with the state.
Again, check with the state. Okay, last question. Will it be accepted to work in America as a nurse, even if the experience is only in the Philippines?
Yes. I know many nurses who work in the Philippines and then go to US. You just have to find a good employer to work, and there are several, right? Onenurse.com. I think perhaps you have employers for looking for nurses.
Yeah. Okay, someone commented, Maribel from Leslie and Parocha, mapapasana all ka sa one take. Wow, what can you say about it? They are really amazing.
Thank you. You just have to study, guys. And also pray. 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 Before I remember before I study every day, I pray, Lord, I can do this. I can't do this without you because I really can't. And also, of course, believe in yourself. Kaya niyan. Can do it.
Yes, they can do it. Anyway, Maribel, thank you for answering those questions. And to all our viewers, really appreciate those who commented, but I wasn't able to cater all those questions. So we will try to comment and try to answer your questions through the comment section. All right. So really appreciate your time, Maribel. So
Thank
for
you.
now, and to those our viewers, thank you so much for watching this webinar. And I hope that you have had a lot of learnings today. Have a good night.